Once upon a time, in a small village in Nigeria, there lived a young woman named Ada. She was beautiful, kind, and hardworking. Ada was married to a man named Emeka, and together they lived in a small house with a beautiful garden. Everyone in the village thought they were a happy couple, but only Ada knew the truth. One day, Ada started feeling very sick. She was so weak that she could not get out of bed. Emeka didn't seem to care. He would leave the house early in the morning and return late at night. He never asked Ada how she was feeling or if she needed anything. After some time, Ada's illness got worse. The village doctor came to see her and told Emeka that Ada needed to be taken to the hospital immediately. Emeka agreed and Ada was taken to the hospital. But when they arrived, the doctors told Emeka that they needed money to start Ada's treatment. Emeka looked at the doctor and said, "I don't have money right now." The doctor replied, "But if we don't start treatment soon, your wife's condition will get worse." Emeka shook his head and left the hospital. He didn't return. Ada waited and waited, but her husband never came back. While Ada was lying in her hospital bed, sick and scared, something terrible happened back at her home. Emeka had thrown a big party. He invited all his friends to come and eat, drink, and dance. People from the village could hear the loud music and laughter coming from Emeka's house. No one knew that Ada was lying alone in the hospital waiting for help. Days passed and Ada's condition got worse. Ada's health continued to decline, but still, Emeka didn't show up at the hospital. The nurses grew worried. They did everything they could to keep her comfortable, but without the money for the treatment, there wasn't much they could do. Meanwhile, back at Emeka's house, the party grew louder and louder. He danced and laughed as if nothing was wrong. His friends didn't know about Ada's sickness. They believed that Emeka was just celebrating something special. Some of them asked him, "Where is your wife, Ada? Why isn't she here with us?" Emeka lied, saying, "Oh, she's visiting her family in another village. Don't worry about her. Let's enjoy the party." But deep inside, Emeka knew the truth. He didn't want to spend money on Ada's treatment because he had already decided to move on with his life. He had fallen in love with another woman and didn't care about Ada anymore. As the days went by, Ada's family heard about her sickness and rushed to the hospital. They were shocked when they learned that Emeka had refused to pay for her treatment. Her mother, tears in her eyes, asked the doctor, why didn't he help her? Why didn't he pay for her treatment? The doctor shook his head sadly and said, "We've tried to contact him, but he never returned. I am sorry." Ada's family was heartbroken. They quickly gathered what little money they had and paid for Ada's treatment, but it was already too late. Ada had become too weak, and the doctor could only do so much to help her. One night, as the stars shone bright in the sky, Ada's mother sat by her bedside, holding her hands tightly. Ada whispered softly, "Mama, I'm so tired." Her mother wiped away her tears and said, "Rest, my child. Everything will be all right." At that moment, the next day, Ada's mother sat beside her daughter, holding her hand. She thought Ada was just sleeping, her breathing soft and her face calm. The room was quiet except for the gentle rustling of the curtains as the wind blew through the window. Ada's younger sister came into the room and whispered, "Mama, is Ada still asleep?" Her mother nodded, her voice shaky. "Yes, let her rest. She's been through so much." Hours passed, and the sun rose high in the sky. Ada hadn't stirred. Her mother gently shook her head and whispered, "Ada, my dear, it is time to wake up." But Ada didn't move. Her hand felt cold and her breathing had stopped. Slowly, Ada's mother realized the truth. Her daughter wasn't just sleeping, she had passed away quietly in the night. Her mother let out a soft cry, and her sister broke down in tears. The nurses rushed in, but there was nothing they could do. Ada was gone. Back at the village, the news of Ada's death spread like wildfire. The villagers were shocked and saddened. How could such a kind and a gentle woman leave the world so soon? And where was Emeka? When the news reached Emeka, he was still busy entertaining guests in his house. One of the villagers, angry and disappointed, marched up to Emeka's house and confronted him. "How can you be celebrating while your wife lies dead in the hospital?" The words hit Emeka like a stone. At first, he didn't believe it, but when the villagers explained everything, Emeka's face turned pale. The party was suddenly quiet. All his friends stared at him in shock, whispers spreading through the crowd. Now, Emeka had to face the consequences of his betrayal. Tune in for the next episode. Please subscribe to my channel.